halfway through our Galentine's sleepover at Sophie's, laughing at Maya's impression of her hinge date when my phone lit up. It was my best friend, Chloe. "So, I saw you posted that you're wearing the blue dress. To my birthday brunch tomorrow?" "Yeah, we need to talk about that." The room got quiet. Sophie stopped mid-stroke on Jess' pinky nail. "Okay, I'm not trying to be a bitch, but when you wear it, you look like a stuffed sausage. It's really embarrassing." She paused to examine her lashes. "Remember Brad's pool party when you wore that bikini? And I told you everyone was judging you? This is gonna be worse. I'm just being honest because I love you." Click. She hung up before I could even process. Everyone was staring at me. 20 seconds of pure silence while my face filled with heat. And I tried not to cry. Guys, she didn't mean it like that. She's just an honest person. Oh, hell nah. Maya actually threw her nail polish bottle onto the couch. "Did that hoe just call you a stuffed sausage?" The girl from Sophie's work who I just met tonight said, "Girl, what the actual fuck?" Maya was already scrolling through Chloe's Instagram. "This bitch." Maya held up her phone. "She literally posted about body positivity yesterday." Wait, Sophie said. "Isn't her birthday brunch at that bougie place downtown? The one where all the influencers go?" I nodded, still trying to stop crying. Jess, who never swears, said, "Fuck this. Girls. New plan." The energy shift was instant. Suddenly, everyone was huddled around me like we were planning a heist. Sophie pulled up the Revolve website. "What dress is it?" I showed them. The blue midi with the cutout back. "Okay, it's in stock," Sophie said, adding it to her cart. "What size?" Within 5 minutes, every single girl had ordered the same dress in their size. Overnight shipping. Still, I defended her, blissfully unaware of what a good friend is meant to look like. "But guys, this isn't necessary. It's just the way she is. Girl, I love you. But you need to shut the fuck up because this is happening," Maya said, still furiously scrolling through Chloe's socials. "Oh, this is gold. She told everyone she's 24 tomorrow. This bitch is turning 27. How do you know?" I asked, pretending to be surprised. "Because I found her college graduation photos from 2020. Do the math. By 3 a.m. They'd found her real age, her actual job, MLM. Her Facetune fails. And the fact that she'd been telling people she got into Cornell when she went to community college. Nothing wrong with that, but lying? Guys, is this too mean? I don't want her to be sad on her birthday." "Girl, we're giving her exactly what she wants," Maya said with a smirk. "She wants all the attention in her dress? Well, she'll be the only one not in blue and get all the attention she wants." Even I couldn't argue with that. Like, she kinda ate. The next morning, my friends wouldn't let me check my phone. They did my makeup, hyped me up, and we all got dressed together. 6 girls in almost identical maxi dresses. "Girl, the body is bodying," Sophie exclaimed. "8 down," Maya yelled, cheekily slapping my ass. It was the first time girls had hyped me up like that, and I couldn't even hide my smile. We rolled up to the restaurant together. I could see Chloe through the window at a long table, wearing black, surrounded by her sorority sisters. She saw us approaching, and her face went through like 5 different expressions. "Happy birthday, babe," Maya said way too loudly as we walked in. "Happy 27th. The table went silent. One of her sorority sisters said, "Wait, I thought you were turning 24. We all love this dress so much after you said how good it photographs," I added, finding my voice. We sat down. 6 blue dresses. Chloe in black, looking like she was at a funeral. Which I guess she was. The funeral of her fake persona, LOL. Her sorority sisters were exchanging looks. One pulled out her phone, probably checking Chloe's LinkedIn. Throughout brunch, my friends kept aggressively complimenting each other. Chloe tried to pull me aside for a bathroom talk, and for the first time ever I told her no. No over-explaining. No apologizing. Just simple refusal. The birthday toast was brutal. Someone definitely took photos that ended up in the sorority group chat. As we were leaving, I did something I never thought I'd do. I texted her mom. "Hi, Mrs. H. I won't be around anymore. Something happened with Chloe, and I can't continue the friendship. You've been like a second mom to me. Love you always." She read it immediately. My phone started blowing up. 47 missed calls from Chloe. 23 from Mrs. Healer. Except that wasn't even the worst part. Because right as we were leaving the restaurant, Lauren Price grabbed my arm and pulled me to the side near the hostess stand while everyone else was getting their coats. She looked around to make sure nobody could hear us, then leaned in close enough that I could smell her vanilla perfume. Her eyes kept darting between me and the table where Chloe was, still sitting surrounded by confused sorority sisters, all checking their phones and whispering. Lauren asked if Chloe was really 27. And I just nodded because what else could I do at that point? She told me they'd been celebrating her 24th birthday for 3 years straight, and everyone thought she was the baby of their friend group. The other girls from the sorority were now openly staring at Chloe, who was trying to laugh it off. But her face kept twitching, and her hands were shaking as she reached for her mimosa. My phone started buzzing nonstop in my purse. And when I pulled it out, the screen was already full of notifications with more coming in every second. 47 missed calls from Chloe and 23 from Mrs. Healer. Plus dozens of texts that ranged from calling me every name in the book to begging me to answer and explain what was happening. Maya grabbed my phone out of my hand and started blocking numbers, while Sophie called an Uber. And Jess stood between me and the restaurant window where Chloe was now standing and staring at us. We piled into the Uber and headed straight back to Sophie's apartment, where I completely lost it the second we got through the door. I collapsed on her couch, still wearing that blue dress, and just sobbed while my friends sat around me telling me over and over that I hadn't done anything wrong. They started listing all the times Chloe had torn me down while pretending to help. Like when she told me my interview outfit made me look desperate, or when she said my graduation photos were embarrassing and I should delete them. Sophie pulled out her laptop and said we needed to document everything before Chloe could spin the story her way. So we spent the next 3 hours screenshotting every mean text Shed sent me next to her fake inspirational posts about lifting other women up. Maya found Chloe's LinkedIn, where she claimed to be a marketing executive at some Fortune 500 company, when really she was selling essential oils through an MLM and had been lying about her job for years. We found old Facebook posts where Shed claimed different ages on different birthdays. And Sophie even found a post from her community college congratulating their graduates, which proved Shed never gone to Cornell like she told everyone. My hands were still shaking as I watched them compile this folder of evidence showing that basically everything about Chloe was fake, from her age to her job to her entire personality. That evening around 7, we heard pounding on Sophie's apartment door, and through the peephole, I could see Chloe's threatening scene in her feed, which I is queering myself by staring back. And this is when you see me giving a long look at my screen, y'all. Doom. Her. E. Exactly. Utter. Low. She. Y. Is. E. It. Is. The. Antis. Hat. On. Her. Tab. Door. Door. D. N. O. F. ID. All. On. My. Life. And. With. The. By. E. Me. E. Me. By. You. Login. Chloe with mascara streaking down her face and her designer dress all wrinkled from the brunch disaster. She was screaming about how Wed humiliated her on her birthday and threatening to sue us for defamation while Sophie called building security, and Maya filmed everything. Through the window, security showed up within minutes and escorted her out while she kept yelling that Shed destroy all of us and make sure everyone knew what horrible people we were. The next morning, I woke up on Sophie's couch to find that Chloe had posted this long, tearful Instagram story about being bullied by jealous friends who couldn't handle her success and tried to ruin her birthday out of spite. Half the comments were people offering sympathy, but the other half were asking why 6 different friends would coordinate matching dresses if they weren't, making a point about something Lauren had sent me a DM asking if we could meet for coffee because there was stuff about Chloe I needed to know, so I met her downtown at this little place near the university. She pulled out her phone and showed me old Facebook posts from when they were in college together, and apparently Chloe had done this exact same thing to her freshman roommate. The girl had been shy and insecure, and Chloe became her best friend, then slowly broke her down by constantly criticizing her weight and clothes and grades until the girl literally transferred schools to get away from her. Lauren showed me message after message where the pattern was exactly the same as what she'd done to me, down to the fake compliments followed by cruel observations disguised as honesty. I sat there in that coffee shop realizing I'd been apologizing for my own existence for 7 years because Chloe had trained me to think I was never good enough without her approval. Every outfit I bought I'd sent her photos first, and every decision I made I'd run by her because she'd convinced me I couldn't trust my own judgment about anything. Maya kept texting me to stop spiraling and reminding me I was free now, but freedom felt terrifying when someone else had been controlling your choices for so long. That's when Mrs. Healer called Maya's phone since I'd blocked hers, and Maya put it on speaker while Mrs. Healer sobbed about how I was like a daughter to her and begged me to talk to her. 6 matching blue dresses walking into brunch like a fashion flash mob. That's not revenge, that's performance art with a side of mimosas. Chloe wanted attention, and boy did she get it, just not the kind where people believe you're 24 for the 3rd year running. I finally took the phone and told her it wasn't just one fight, and she should ask Chloe about Cornell and her real job and why she'd been lying about her age to everyone. The silence stretched for what felt like forever before Mrs. Healer whispered, asking what I meant. So I told her to check Chloe's community college graduation photos and her MLM website, and then call me back if she still thought I was the problem. 3 days later, I went back to work trying to focus on spreadsheets while my whole personal falling apart, and co-workers who followed Chloe kept asking if I was okay because of her Instagram stories. My supervisor noticed I was distracted and suggested I take a mental health day, which made me realize just how much Chloe had invaded every single part of my life, to the point where I couldn't even do my job without thinking about her. My phone buzzed on my desk and I saw Brad Mitchell's name pop up on Instagram, which was weird since we hadn't talked since college. His message made my stomach drop because he said he saw what happened at the brunch and that Chloe had done the exact same thing to his ex-girlfriend until she developed an eating disorder. The screenshots he sent showed Chloe telling this girl she looked pregnant in every fit and that she should try intermittent fasting because her arms were getting flabby. I scrolled through dozens of messages where Chloe systematically destroyed this girl's confidence with comments about her thighs touching and her face looking puffy. My hands were shaking as I read message after message of Chloe pretending to care while actually tearing this girl apart. Before I could even process what Brad sent, my phone exploded with notifications because Chloe had just posted on Instagram and tagged all 6 of us from the brunch. The post had this long caption about fake friends showing their true colors and how she was planning to ask me to be her maid of honor, but now she dodged a bullet. She attached all these photos from our friendship, but carefully picked ones. She looked amazing and I looked tired or awkward. The comments were already piling up with people taking her side and calling us mean girls and bullies. My coworkers kept looking at me because My phone wouldn't stop buzzing with notifications from people I hadn't talked to in years asking if I was okay. Maya texted our group chat saying we needed to meet at her apartment immediately. Because this was getting out of control, I left work early and drove to Maya's place where everyone was already gathered around her kitchen table with their phones out. Maya had created a new group chat called Chloe Survival Squad and was taking charge of the situation like a general planning a battle. Sophie's friend from work who I just met at Galentine's told us about her sister who had exactly like Chloe and warned us it would get worse before it got better. We spent hours going through all our old messages and screenshots building a timeline of Chloe's lies and manipulation. A week passed and I couldn't stop myself from checking Chloe's Instagram every few hours, watching her craft this victim narrative. She posted old photos of us with captions about mourning the friendship she thought was real, and each post felt like a knife twisting deeper. Just kept texting me to stop looking at Chloe's posts because I was just torturing myself, but I couldn't help it. Then Lauren from the sorority sent me a whole folder of screenshots from their group chat where Chloe had been lying about literally everything. She told them her dad was a federal judge when he actually manages a Subway franchise, and claimed she went to Cornell when it was community college. The lies were so extensive and so unnecessary that it was almost impressive how she kept track of them. All I tried going back to my normal routine, but everywhere I went reminded me of Chloe, her favorite coffee shop where she'd tell me my order had too many calories, the boutique where she convinced me nothing looked flattering on me, the park where she'd give me advice about my problem areas. The whole city felt haunted by memories of her criticizing me while pretending to help. 10 days after the brunch, I was home making dinner when someone knocked on my door, and I opened it to find Mrs. Healer standing there looking completely wrecked. She was holding a folder and her eyes were red from crying as she told me she found Chloe's real transcripts from community college. She broke down sobbing on my doorstep, saying she didn't know her own daughter and apologizing for all the manipulation. I brought her inside and made her tea while she told me how Chloe had been using her credit cards for all those designer clothes. Mrs. Healer thought they were gifts from Chloe's executive position, but the MLM had actually put her $30,000 in debt. She kept saying Chloe told her I was jealous of her success and she believed it, which made her feel terrible. Now I showed Mrs. Healer all the screenshots on my phone, the body shaming messages and the gaslighting and the systematic destruction of my confidence. Her face crumbled more while I was sitting there with each message she read, and she kept shaking her head in disbelief. She said this wasn't the daughter she raised, but I wondered if maybe it was because Chloe had learned that love comes with conditions and image matters more than truth. While we were sitting there, someone leaked the sorority group chat screenshots on Twitter with a thread titled, "My friend's toxic bestie got exposed at her birthday brunch." The thread went viral within hours, and my phone flooded with messages from mutual friends asking if this was about Chloe. People were quote tweeting with their own stories about toxic friends, and the whole thing exploded beyond anything we could have imagined. 2 weeks later, I sat in my car after work, staring at the steering wheel, because every single route home went past something Chloe related. The coffee shop where we'd meet every Tuesday, the boutique where she'd convinced me that dress made me look fat, the park where we'd planned her fake Cornell graduation party. The radio started playing that Taylor Swift song we used to scream together, and I jabbed the power button so hard it hurt my finger. I sat there in the parking garage for 45 minutes, just breathing and wondering if this sick feeling in my stomach would ever go away. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number, saying she was Brad's ex, Emma, and needed to warn me about something important. I met her 3 days later at this little restaurant downtown, where she immediately grabbed my hands across the table, and told me Chloe doesn't just let people go. Emma's eyes kept darting to the door, like she expected Chloe to walk in any second, while she explained how when Shed tried to distance herself 2 years ago, Chloe had called her job claiming she was stealing, contacted her parents saying she was on drugs, even made fake dating profiles with her photos. Emma showed me screenshots Shed saved, messages to her boss saying Emma was mentally unstable, emails to her landlord claiming she was running a brothel, all sent from different fake accounts, but with Chloe's writing style obvious in everyone. The next morning, my boss called me into his office and showed me an Instagram message from an account called Concerned Citizen 847, claiming I was mentally unstable and dangerous to work colleagues. My hands started shaking as I read accusations about me having violent episodes and making threats, complete with fake screenshots of messages ID never sent. My boss pushed a box of tissues across his desk and said he knew it was harassment, but I needed to document everything for HR and probably the police. Maya found out that same afternoon because she'd been monitoring any new accounts that followed both me and Chloe, and she immediately started investigating. Within 2 hours, she discovered Chloe had been messaging my ex-boyfriends with this fake story about planning a surprise party for me and needing embarrassing stories for a roast. She forwarded me screenshots from my ex, James, who'd immediately blocked her, but 2 others had already sent stories before realizing something was wrong. One had told her about the time I cried during sex because I was so insecure about my body, which was exactly the kind of ammunition Chloe wanted. 3 weeks after the brunch, I finally made an appointment with a therapist because Sophie literally drove me there and walked me into the building. I sat on that beige couch clutching a throw pillow and admitted I didn't know who I was without Chloe telling me that for 7 years she'd been the voice in my head, deciding if I was pretty enough, smart enough, good enough for anything. The therapist nodded like she'd heard this exact story before and said, I'd been in an emotionally abusive friendship, that recovery takes time, that the confusion and grief I felt were normal responses to my ex-boyfriends to psychological manipulation. The word abuse felt too big and dramatic for what happened, but when she listed the signs, control, isolation, gaslighting, emotional manipulation, I checked every single box. Meanwhile, Lauren from Chloe's sorority had been getting suspicious about all the stories not adding up, and organized a meeting at her apartment with 5 other sisters. They sat around her living room comparing notes and realized Chloe had been collecting dirt on everyone for years, keeping files she called insurance for when she might need leverage. This girl, Stephanie, pulled up her laptop and showed them a folder Chloe had accidentally shared with her during a group project that contained documents on dozens of people with their secrets, fears, embarrassing stories, anything that could be used against them. Lauren immediately took photos of everything and started a group chat to warn anyone who might be targeted. I found out about the meeting because Lauren called me that night, saying I needed to know Chloe had a file on me. That went back to freshman year, with every insecurity ID ever mentioned, every embarrassing moment, every vulnerability carefully documented, with dates and details. Brad sliding into the DMs with receipts about Chloe's past victims. Talk about the universe delivering evidence right to your inbox. Turns out she's been running this same mean girl playbook since before smartphones had portrait mode. By now, ID completely changed my daily routine to avoid any chance of running into Chloe. Taking a different route to work that added 20 minutes, switching to a gym across town, even grocery shopping at weird hours. Sophie noticed I was basically living in fear and said I was letting her win by hiding, but it didn't feel like hiding. It felt like the only way to breathe, without that constant anxiety that she might appear. For weeks after the brunch, a courier showed up at my apartment, with an envelope that made my stomach drop before I even opened it. Inside was a formal cease and desist letter from a law firm claiming defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and interference with business relationships, demanding I stopped spreading false information about Chloe or face legal action. My hands shook so bad I could barely dial Maya's number. But she came over with her brother, who worked as a paralegal, and he read through it laughing, saying it was intimidation bullshit. Because truth is an absolute defense against defamation, and we had screenshots of everything. He helped me organize all the evidence into a folder, while explaining that Chloe's lawyer probably told her this wouldn't go anywhere, but she did it anyway just to scare me. That same week, Mrs. Healer texted me a long message, saying she'd cut off Chloe's credit cards and demanded she get real professional help. After seeing the Twitter thread and talking to other parents who'd reached out with concerns, Chloe's response was to post on Facebook that her mother was having a mental health crisis and trying to control her adult daughter's life through financial abuse. The comment section turned into a war zone, with people calling Mrs. Healer toxic and telling Chloe to go no contact with her abusive family, while others who knew the real story tried to defend her but got attacked by Chloe's remaining supporters. Mrs. Healer sent me screenshots of Chloe's posts with crying emojis and said she didn't recognize her own daughter anymore. Jess sent me this quote that night that said, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time," and I realized I was grieving someone who never actually existed. The Chloe I loved, the one who made me laugh until my stomach hurt and stayed up all night when I was sad and made me feel special. That was just a performance to keep me close enough to control. The real Chloe was the one who needed me small and insecure to feel big, who collected my pain like weapons, who saw friendship as a game where someone had to lose for her to win. Sophie's boyfriend Jake showed up at my place 3 days later with his laptop and some cable thing I didn't recognize. He plugged my old phone into his computer and started typing really fast while Sophie made us tea. The screen filled with rows and rows of text messages I thought I'd deleted forever. Years of conversations with Chloe appeared on his screen like ghosts coming back to haunt me. Jake pointed at different sections while Sophie took notes on her phone. The messages showed this weird pattern where Chloe would be super sweet for weeks, then suddenly turn mean, then disappear, then come back acting like nothing happened. Jake kept saying words like textbook and psychology paper while highlighting different parts. Sophie counted over 40 times where Chloe had called me fat or ugly, then immediately said she was just trying to help. 6 weeks after the birthday brunch disaster, I was pushing my cart through Target looking for laundry detergent when someone tapped my shoulder. This girl with dark hair and tired eyes was staring at me like she'd seen a ghost. She said her name was Ashley and she'd been Chloe's college roommate. She recognized me from old Facebook posts. Ashley grabbed my arm and pulled me toward the coffee shop area. She kept looking around, like Chloe might pop out from behind the paper towel display. Ashley showed me screenshots on her phone from 2019 when Chloe had done the exact same stuff to her. The messages looked exactly like mine, even using the same phrases about being honest and helping. We sat there for an hour comparing stories, and it was scary how similar everything was. Ashley gave me her number and said to call if I needed someone who understood. 2 days later, I was eating my sad desk salad when the receptionist called saying I had a visitor. Chloe was standing in the lobby wearing this huge coat and sunglasses, like she was some kind of celebrity. She said I was a celebrity. She started yelling about needing to talk like adults while everyone in the lobby stared. The security guard had to physically block her from getting to the elevators. She kept screaming my name and saying I was being dramatic while the guard called for backup. My boss watched the whole thing from the second-floor balcony and pulled me into her office after. She handed me a business card for the police station and said, "The word nobody wants to hear: stalking." The next morning, I sat in a gray room at the police station filling out forms while an officer typed my answers into her computer. She looked exhausted but kept nodding and asking for more details about everything that had happened. I showed her the birthday brunch texts, told her about the lobby scene, and mentioned the time Chloe showed up at my office.